Greetings once again. It's time for Shelf Life Book Reviews Online, where I present for you a very highly recommended book. And once again, I'm wearing my sunglasses because of the issues with my eye that I mentioned before. If you haven't seen my last video, I do have an eye that has been spasming, opening and closing strangely. So I'm wearing this because I want my glasses because I want to. But anyways, it won't affect my book review, trust me. But the book I want to present to you today is The Story of the Bee Gees, Children of the World by Bob Stanley. This is published by Pegasus and it retails for $39.95. I'm trying to get away from the glare here. Don't know if that works, but anyways, this is a very highly recommended book. The Bee Gees, growing up in the 60s, especially 1967, April 67, I remember the release of the song New York Mining Disaster 1941, which was the Bee Gees' first really big hit. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, so that's why I was very interested in the book and in their lives too. Bob Stanley, the author, he has written several books about music. I do have one of his that still has to be reviewed. It's like 850 pages. This one is under 400 pages. But if you're a fan of the Bee Gees, you are definitely going to have to add this to your list, your must-read list, that is. The book talks about their lives. They grew up in poverty. They were very, very poor, and they had issues with being able to buy things. And they were in England at the time. And the three brothers, Maurice, Barry, and Robin, they were very close, and actually they formed a group at one time called the Rattlesnakes, and then they moved to Australia, and they did record a song there called Spicks and Specks that really never did anything. Maybe in Australia eventually it got a little bit of play, but it really was not a song that they would be known for. Then they moved back to England in 1966, and they became acquainted with the impresario record producer Robert Stigwood. And once they met him, life changed totally. They got a contract, and they started recording, of course, New York Mining Disaster 1941, which I remember the lyrics, the first lyrics: "In the event of something happening to me, there is something I would like you all to see. It's just a photograph of someone that I knew." And it's a great song. And it was their first big hit, followed up with a plethora of great singles like Words, To Love Somebody, The 1st of May, I Started a Joke, Massachusetts, and so many more. And then around 1969, Robin left the group, and I guess they had some disagreements, and he left, and other people came to join the Bee Gees, but it just wasn't the same. So then they asked, a couple of years later, they asked him to come back, and he was agreeable to come back. So, and then recorded another song in '72, How Do You Mend a Broken Heart? And the Bee Gees, one of the things that Bob Stanley talks about in the book is the fact that the Bee Gees listened to other groups, and they got inspiration from the way they made their hit songs. So it's not that they were copying other groups, but they were using the other groups' music and their style and their lyrics sort of for inspiration, which really helped them. But they sort of had a dry spell in the mid-70s. And then disco came along. And as we all know, Saturday Night Fever really started the disco craze, and the Bee Gees were part of that craze with Jive Talkin', Stayin' Alive, and Night Fever, and that was sort of a rebirth of their career. They had the early pop career from, you could say, 67 to 72 or so, then the disco phase from 76, but they did record music after that until they did eventually split up. And then they had the younger brother, Andy Gibb, who started recording music as well too. And we all know the sad story of his life. He got into drugs, and he eventually died from those drugs. Now, Only Barry is still alive. Maurice died in 2003. Robin died in 2012. But let's just say their music is endless. If you've heard a Bee Gees song, you will remember a Bee Gees song for the vocals and the music itself. And throughout the pages of the book, Bob Stanley, he also at the start of each chapter talks about the top 10 songs the week that the Bee Gees were on the top 10. And it's sort of like a who's who of music. It's like walking down, nostalgia music lane, because you'll say, yeah, I remember those songs. Some of the ones from England, you might not, some of the groups you might not be familiar with here in Canada and the US, but still, it is really a legendary classic book. So if you're a fan of the Bee Gees or a fan of good music in general, the story of the Bee Gees is definitely one you should add to your collection. Very highly recommended. Bob Stanley is an amazing writer, so you won't regret reading this book. So that's the book I wanted to draw to your attention today. Hopefully you will agree with my review, and if you do, send me a note. I will be back very soon, maybe with the glasses. I wish I didn't have to wear them, but hey, that's life. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.